In a world where space and time are intertwined, one man dared to challenge the status quo. His name? Dayton Miller. His weapon of choice? A flute. But not just any flute. This instrument held the power to unleash the ether, a pervasive medium once thought to fill the universe.
All right, hello and welcome to Ether Cosmology. Tonight we have a new Man of Stone drop following up on the shadow sets measurements. So a popular request from the Globers was to get some exact data and measurements to supplement our argument for shadow sets. And that is when a westward facing window or object casts a shadow on a wall, and as the sun sets, the shadow should exceed the height of the object casting the shadow. For the globe prediction, and for the flat earth prediction, the shadow will rise up, and then as it gets higher, it will slow down, and then it'll eventually remain stationary until it fades out as the sun moves away from us, always above the horizon, never below. So these are mutually exclusive shadow predictions that Stone is going to cover. Stone, whenever you're ready, good sir.
Hey, how we doing, gang? Good to see such a good turnout on Discord here too. Greetings to the rest who are watching on YouTube. Oh man, it is, just as a side note, it is a never-ending heat wave down here in Uruguay this season. Can you believe it? We're nearly hitting the equinox, and it was 37 degrees here Celsius. That's like 111 Fahrenheit, and it's still about that temperature, closer to 9 o'clock tonight. Right now, amazing heat. Okay, put all that aside. Here we are with the latest video. I'm right down to the wire with the editing tonight. So we will make no delay. We will get on with the old audio sharing of the screen. And
Freedom units only, please.
Yes. Let me know when you can see that, Ellen.
Yes, sir. We're clear. Yes, sir. We're clear.
Okay, looking good. Well, without any further ado, I'm just going to let you have it. It's about 8 minutes for those with the attention span of a moth. There will be 2 points of this video where it seems like you're just watching paint drying, but I include all of the footage for sake of completeness so that nobody can say, oh, well, you pulled the rug out here or you did something clandestine there. We're looking at the whole data set, and we've got enough music to buy our time. So yeah, enjoy, guys. We'll let you have it right away.
I can't lie. No more of your darkness. All my pictures seem to fade to black and white. I'm growing tired. Time stands still before me. Frozen here on the ladder of my life. Too late to save myself. Chance and changed your way of life. But you misread my meaning when I met you. Close the door and left me blind. No more the darkness. All my pictures seem to fade to black and white. I'm growing tired. Time stands still before me. Frozen here on the ladder of my life. Too late to save myself from falling. I took a chance, changed your way of life. But you misread my meaning when I met you. Close the door and left me blinded by the light. Don't let the sun go down on me. Don't let the sun. Although I search myself, there's always someone else I see. I just allow a fracture of your life, the one to losing everything. It's like the sun going down on me. I can't find the right romantic line. But see me once, see the way I feel. Don't discard me just because you think I mean you harm. But these cuts I have, oh, they need love, help them heal. Don't let the sun go down on me. Don't let the sun. Although I search myself, there's always someone else I see. I just allow a fraction of your life, the one that losing everything is like the sun going down on me. Losing everything is like the sun going down on me.
Damn.
And there you have it, gang. One fresh video off the shelf. So let's stop right now for questions and or comments from the crowd. None whatsoever. Okay. Either that everybody is, it's all shock and awe and people are still taking it in, they don't understand it, or it sucked ass. It's A, B, or C, not sure which.
It definitely didn't suck.
Hold on, I gotta mute the stream.
Oof.
Yeah. It definitely didn't suck, but every time you present something, it always takes me 5 minutes after to take it in, and usually by the second time when you go over it with your notes, or like you explain each part, then I start to have questions.
You
But yeah,
should
definitely
stop
taking it
streaming real quick.
What was that, Beast?
Oh, you should stop streaming real quick so it doesn't echo.
There.
So
How's that?
So essentially, the part I'm confused about is when you say the angular sun of the diameter of the sun is actually 0.5. You're claiming that it should have moved 1.25 degrees, but it doesn't.
Well, that's a celestial observational measurement. Just for reference, later on you're going to see when I present the graph of the angles you're actually looking at, that in 5 minutes, the sun moves across the sky, in this case, in a totally downward direction, 1.25 degrees. So you're going to be taking that rate of motion into account at the end graph when we're thinking about how much of the sun never even hits the horizon before it fades out, so to speak, looking at the angles that we've got and my view of the quote-unquote infinite horizon away, the actual, disappearing line that I don't see because the peak that's farther from me is 16 meters above the bottom edge of that window. So I don't actually see the full horizon, and even that taken into account, you still see almost all of the sun fading out into nothing on my wall. Like, you don't see any occlusion. There's no eclipse-like showing that Shadow Reveal put in on his videos that you see in the globular scenario. That there's
no shadow
just
line.
no eclipsing of the land. Like, the peak that's out there, that's above me by 16 meters, you never see that on the wall here through the window, because the sun never really does go that low before you can no longer see it. That's kind of what I'm getting metrical about there. Again, like you said, Beast, or actually Gally said it. You'll see it a couple of times, and it'll slowly sink in. Oh, right, yeah, okay. You can still see 70% of the sun at that rate of travel downward, allegedly, according to the Globies. But we see far more than that in the last, what is that going to be? Minute? That's why I back it up a full minute from when it is absolutely faded out and take the measurement of the magnet I placed on the wall, the center of which, vertically speaking, is exactly the same height of the bottom of the window through which all of this light is coming, on the opposite wall, on the west wall.
It never goes above the magnet.
Exactly. The camera looking at the wall is pointed east.
Right.
Due east. And the angle of the sun is coming in the opposite of 252. So 252 minus 180 was at 120, 118, 112 or something like that. 122. Exactly. Good enough. So you understand that that's just going to be so many degrees north, 18 degrees north of due east. That angle that's coming out over my right shoulder, or the way the camera's looking at it, and hitting the wall, that vertical height of there is what we're actually checking. That's what the Globies asked for, specifically. They wanted to know, okay, well, how do the heights compare? Because that's really what WJB was pointing out in his parallel modeling on the Shadow Reveal video, that he shows, okay, it either goes up like this and it gets completely eclipsed, or it goes like that and it fades out and you can still see it all. And that's why right at the end of the video, I included Dave Weiss's actual footage from his drone, where you see the sun fade out. It doesn't actually drop below the horizon, not anything anywhere similar to it. So there is corroboration between the two observations, and the way that you see the rate of vertical drop slow in the last 3 minutes is exactly in line with the model that WJB put forward 3 years ago. That you see it going up the wall and then it slows down, almost comes to completely stop as it fades out to nothing. And that's exactly what these observations, plural, show.
Gotcha. So, in essence, that magnet that you put on the wall, the shadow line never goes above it, or even near it, actually, right? Just fades out. Because if it was on a globe and the sun was being occluded by Earth curve as it sets, or as we rotate away in their model, then you would see that defining line basically start going higher than the windowsill, the bottom of the windowsill.
Totally correct. And we only actually see it approach it, and it gets to 117 millimeters below it on its way up to it, but stops there as it fades out.
Right. It just
Absolutely correct.
Stops and then fades out as if the sun is just moving away.
You got it.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I understood it.
So just to make it a little more clear, when you're going to see, I think I should probably do that live in the comparison between the two video chunks, between the two actual samples. They are graphed slightly differently from each other. In the first one, I leave the very first position on the wall inked, and then move one up the wall, and you see it moving, going according. But on the right side, you can look directly across at the bottom edge of that graphic as it's going up the wall, and it literally shows you where on the graph we're vertically going up on the graph. So the graph isn't actually showing any east-west motion of the sun, only the up and down component, vector component, if you will, over time. 1 minute at a time, 5 seconds a piece for the speed we're watching it at 12x going by. So in the second one, though, I don't leave the original position on the wall. Instead, the X's that you see in the first graphic along the bottom edge of the line, on the left side, those X's remain. So you see them progressively add one on top of the next. And again, if you take those X's directly across, although they're not at the same height, because I threw the graph up top in the corner on the second observation, because it's a little more zoomed in so that you can see it a little more closely, and we can take a more precise measurement of just how close it gets to the magnet, being 117 millimeters away.
I want to know how the Globies will refute it. I don't think they can.
I can't wait. I just can't wait. But so I'm gonna go through it live with you guys, just to break it right on down, and feel free to jump in with questions as we do that. And
you're gonna stream again?
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up here.
Okay.
Bip,
So everyone, when we get into the stream, mute the stream so you don't hear the echo.
Yeah, that's a good plan. So you can just hear me. Yeah, I guess you don't need to hear the music the second time. But yes, that was indeed Elton John for the first third. And I took the second third from a greatest hits quote album of his, and the title of that one is called Two Rooms, and that is Oleta Adams backing us up and taking us out for the last 2/3 of the video, for those who are truly interested in the music. Okay, so anyways, let's bring that up. Yeah, stream is up, so by all means, mute that.
Yeah, mute the stream, and then we'll go
let's
over.
Get started right about here. We'll just leave it about yay big.
Yeah, so if you go to the graph.
So everybody got to see that part. So this is the scenario, and I run it quick for sake of brevity because I didn't quite
Right.
get the length of the song and the length of the video together. But that's where we start right there. Again, Globy versus Flatty. And the heights of the blocks on the left side are the same. The height of the windows are the same. You know, everything is exactly the same in terms of the physical, the architecture, except that he mentions quite a few things about the distance of the sun away in the two scenarios, that they're slightly different, but those are for practical reasons and essentially are truly representative of the two scenarios themselves. He tried to be as objective as he could on that part. So there it is, speeded up. Right there when they hit the...
The height of the pillar, the height of the pillar is if you put it next to the window, it would be right at the bottom of the window. Right at the bottom,
Precisely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. This pillar height is exactly the same height as this right here. So in my case, my pillar height is much farther away for scale, but it's 8 meters above. 8 meters above this height. Way up over here on the hill.
So you're saying
like in my own topography.
You're saying the peak of the what, like a mountain?
Yeah, as you look out azimuth 252 out of this window at my topography outside, you know, the ground comes away about 300 meters away, and then it goes down for several hundred meters, and then it goes way back up, and then up here there's actually, when you look at it out the window, right to left, there's this ridge, and there's a road running along the top of the ridge, and right where 252 degrees comes from this window and hits the ridge, right at that point, which is where you'll see the sun, if you looked out the window at the time when we were making this recording.
And that's where you put your magnet.
Well, no, I put the magnet here, right about there. If this is the height, I put the magnet here at the same height on the wall over here. The center of the magnet is exactly the height of this sill right here, vertically speaking on the wall over here, right? But azimuth 252, bearing 252 degrees, 18 degrees to the left of west, out this window, nearly a kilometer away, or whatever it was, I'll get to it, up here, there's a ridge going right to left. And it's 18 meters above this sill.
Okay.
Which produces another angle, which is you know, far higher than these pillars here. So we should definitely see an eclipsing here if there is the Globy model going on. That you're actually leaning towards their side of the argument in terms of my own topography.
So just to steelman it, you're basically saying that in your own house, that you even give them a 16-meter leeway in terms of the shadow, and it still doesn't.
Yeah.
It still
doesn't eclipse at all. There is no occlusion at all. In fact, it is even more so like this. Yeah. So there it is. You see it. The sun goes up, and here's where it eclipses, and here you can see it fading away on the right side.
Right, and then we'll go to the actual window.
Right. So here's number one.
Right. Okay, stop. Real quick.
Okay, so there's no magnet on this one because this is November.
Okay.
Right? I did 2 recordings, and this is the deal that I showed this first one to Alan and everybody, and they said, okay, the Globies were really skeptical about it because I'm not fully documenting what's outside my window behind this camera that I just showed you about the peak, and I'm not showing the height of this part of the window itself and where that is vertically on this wall in terms of height across the room.
Right.
So here, we're just watching it go up, 5 seconds, another minute, and this original, I kept it in place. The 0-minute mark placement here, it literally comes straight across on the graph. This one comes straight across on the graph. This one comes straight across on the graph for minute 3. And here comes minute 4, straight across on the graph. So that's all this graph is showing, is vertical height relation to, to total, minute by minute.
Right, so essentially
on my screen.
On the graph, that 5-minute, 10-minute, those are minutes, right?
Yes, this is a 20-minute recording watching the sun go this way, because I also wanted to check the curve here. Is it straight or is it curved? When does it slow down? When does it change 15 degrees per hour of movement net? You know what I mean? Not just vertical movement, but total across the sky, 15 degrees from here to here kind of thing per hour. And this is only a third of an hour.
Right.
Okay, so that's what's up there. You know, and it is a bit like watching paint dry, especially a couple times through. So as we approach 20 minutes, now I'll just let it run from here, you can see it start to fade.
Right.
And this here starts to slow down. The rate, you know what I mean? Here we're starting to level out.
Right. Just.
And that's where the globies were not happy.
Now
And they
this
said, okay,
is
well,
the
shit.
new one.
There's your magnet. Okay. Now behind us, this right here, part of the doorway behind us, is the same height as this right here in the center of the magnet.
That's pretty wild. Okay, keep going.
Vertically speaking. And here we are at the 0 point. There's a pink X right here. There's a pink X right there. And we're changing vertical between the height of this one and the height of that one is the height of this one and the height of that one, minute by minute. And here we are hitting minute 2 and 3 coming up. And away we go. So you see all the pink X's.
How close is it?
All the pink X's equally distant. Well, I'll show you. I actually measure it straight out.
Right.
We get very precise about this for sake of the angry globies who say it's all bunk.
Okay.
So there's 16. So we'll bring it up a little more, and you can notice. Let me just pause it for a sec. So here we are at 457. Notice the brightness change.
Yeah.
From that.
Right.
To this. You know what I mean? I find that also quite interesting.
Almost like
it's just going
light
through more
attenuation. I was about to say, almost like light
it's
attenuation.
just like it.
Yeah.
It's just like the opacity of air has something to do with it, you know? So here we are proceeding.
You don't say.
5 seconds per minute. And if you can see them, look closely, these are all the pink ones mapped all the way up. And there's 21 minutes in.
Yeah, now it's fading.
Things get a little more diffuse because the air is getting a little more opaque.
Yep.
Almost 23 minutes.
Almost as if it's just moving farther away, getting
And it
attenuated
slows down
more
and
air, and
disappears.
bam, fades away. Wow, that's
I
amazing.
certainly didn't see any shadow coming up from here and then closing it up that way. You know what I mean? I didn't see any of that. I saw all lit
Yeah, you can see the magnet right there.
going to all dark. Yep. Yeah, he's constant.
It didn't even get
So
close
there it
to
is, going all dark. And then
didn't
we
even
lit
get
it up just so you could see where the final point is, where we couldn't see it anymore. And the non-inverted means I just took this thing, which used to be up this way, and just did a vertical flip.
Got it.
That's all we did. So now you can hardly see it, but the same color that this is drawn, I have an average line coming through this. If you look really closely, you can see it because it's very straight until about here, which is why we take the time to zoom into that.
Now,
that's what this is all about right here.
Now, when you start, now here's my question. So when you started that second video, not the first one you did, but the second one, how do you know how high the sun was in the sky when you first started it?
Well, no, I don't. Okay. But I can backwards compute that using stellarium, or actually I use something else called wind stars. Anybody could do that. It's going to be 24 minutes back from where it fades out, right?
But
that'll tell you it's rough.
The zenith
altitude,
or that the elevation angle to the sun when you first start it. That would be cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, when we come to the raw analysis here, I don't think that's quite as relevant to quantify that. What I'm really interested in is all of this, all of these pinks, and the distance ratio between them, the slope that I'm producing. And does the slope change? I think that's what's most vital here. That as we're progressing our way through here, we're doing minute by minute by minute, and we're producing an average line for what's going on here. And you can look, that's actually pretty honking straight. That the sun does its thing all the way until roughly here, when
then
it's about
fades
3
away.
minutes from done, right? And then it just fades right out. There's non-inverted, which means we just took all that and flipped it upside down. So it's exactly the same thing. And this is what we're zooming in here. From 20 to 25 minutes from this pink X to the end at 25 is what we're looking at on the next frame, where we take that
Excellent video,
and then
Stone.
we break it down
I have to run right now. I gotta go.
to
But
here.
excellent video, brother.
Oh, sure thing, Beast. Thanks, man.
Yeah. And I'll
So
see
what
you
we're
guys.
seeing is that blue line coming through the black. Have a good time. Whatever you gotta work, I guess. See you, man. For the rest of the crowd, though, this is the average line that we were looking for that whole time, that slope. And this is where we're departing it. And I do make the comment that this one, I think, is just my poor measurement. This should probably just be a little bit higher. And this one might have been a little high. You know what I mean? But there's still definitely a departure away from this rate of descent. That it is definitely slowing down over time as it fades to nothing.
Nice. That's my favorite kind of way to make the sun disappear.
So this is what Beast was asking about the rate of descent, that it's 15 per hour through the sky regardless of up or down direction. And that in 5 minutes, when you chop that 15 into a 12th, you get 1.25 out of that in 5 minutes. And this is what we're showing here at 5 minutes of progression. The sun has gone through the sky 1.5 celestial degrees from point to point. And you just have to keep that in your mind as a rate of descent, as well as the diameter of the sun in terms of the same metric, being half of an angular degree, celestially measurement wise. That this is why we're taking the time to look at the topography. And of course, we have to start with the overall topography, and that is that we're nowhere near the ocean. It's behind us, 40 kilometers away, and we are more than 200 meters up. So we're not being affected by all this viewing across the water business that so many globies love to get in arguments about. That all almost completely becomes a moot point. Okay, so there's your magnet, and that's what we're taking our time to explain here. That this line physically behind us is this, and that the shadow is produced from above through this line down to here. That is where it's passing through the window behind us and continuing downward to hit the wall here, meaning the sun is above at that angle, from here above 117, and this is where we compute the upward angle being 0.0995. So that's the azimuth, like I was saying, at 2:52 at sunset on the 9th of February. This is what it looks like, the top view. Here's the magnet on the wall, and here's the window in the door, closed, of course, and it is 6.7 meters across the room to hit the wall. So this is where the trigonometry starts, with those values. And again, outside at 2:52 from the window, coming out this way to the left of west, this is where the 16 meters higher than the window exists for me, and that's 1,400 meters away, like nearly a kilometer and a half. It's almost a mile away. Okay, so this is the business right here. Again, the magnet is on the wall right here where the red line hits the wall. The black line is absolutely horizontal. We're taking our red line from the magnet through the door out up to where the peak is. Now the peak is 16 meters above. This is the angle produced from the door to the peak. The green line is 0.655 degrees above, absolutely horizontal. 16 meters away at 1,400, up above at 1,400 meters away at the peak. So what we're doing is we're extending this line. We've just shown you how to produce from the camera we showed you, where the magnet is here, the door is here, That produces a 0.995 degree downward angle from the window to the wall. Well, now we're going up at 0.995, and that hits at 1,400 meters away, 24.3 meters above the window line. That leaves us a gap in here of 8.3 meters in between the two. So when we subtract those around, remember that the angular diameter of the sun was 0.5 degrees. So you rate the difference between these, between 0.5, which is 0.34 over 0.5, and it's roughly 70% of that, which means that 70% of the sun is in between these two lines when it's fading away. That it's well above the horizon. When we're seeing 70% of the sun here, all of that 16 meters above, this 8-meter gap here showing you the whole sun as it fades away. I call that hardcore empirical proof of what's actually happening to the sun at the time we see it disappear on the horizon. And that jives
That's awesome.
entirely with Dave Weiss's observation, which we're about to see again, speeded up several times, zoomed in several times, from his drone, hundreds of meters in the air, where the sun is right there, and then it's not. It's there, then it's not.
Has anyone ever measured the amount of sun above the horizon upon sunset using trig and shadows?
Dude, yeah, let me get a quick recap here. Stone, can you go back to the diagram you had with the magnet? I'm sorry, with the triangles. The three red lines.
Sure.
The 3 lines. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
the actual graph.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So okay,
There it is
so
right there, man.
So what we're doing here is you have the height of the magnet across the room, and that is the red line.
Here.
Okay.
The red line here at 117 below the height of the line of that same spot on the door. That the magnet is centered at 117 millimeters. Well, actually, no, I take it back. The magnet is on the horizontal line directly across from the door.
Right.
The magnet is on the black line, and we see in the recording that it comes up the wall and then stops 117 short of the magnet. But
Gotcha.
the sun over here on the left does not come down to the black line horizontal and disappear and be eclipsed or anything of the sort. In fact, not even close to the 16 meters extra that we gave them for that to occur. We didn't see any eclipsing at all. What we saw was the shadow come up here to 117 below where the magnet is, directly across from the door, horizontally, same height. That the shadow only comes to there before it stops and fades out, which is the same as the reciprocal over here. Pardon?
Right.
Is the shadow the green line?
No, the green line is the peak.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
green line goes from the door. This is the height of my door line, which is horizontal and matched on where the magnet is on the wall, horizontal over to the door, continuing the black line, same all the way across 1,400 meters, and then up 16 meters to the peak where that road is, where the land is actually higher than the door, right? And the magnet, which are the same. 16 meters above that, we still see 70% of the sun as it's fading out on my wall over here. And that is because we're looking at 0.34 degrees between these two, which is the change in angle between these two.
Wow. So at the peak of it, no, not the peak rather, but as it's like going away, that is the maximum angle above the horizon in relation to the object that's casting the shadow.
Yeah, it is the minimum it gets to before it fades away. That we still see 70% of the sun before it disappears, and there's no eclipsing on my wall being shown at all of this peak, which
Right.
is well above the door, 16 meters above that line. We don't see any of it here.
Yeah, they would have to intersect, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
It's
So,
absolutely
Dude,
hardcore measure proof.
Dude,
Never
did
thought
you
about what
did
it
you just
means to
make a
have
window
70%
theodolite?
above you.
Dude, is this the window?
Yeah, I made a
theodolite?
window theodolite.
Theodolite,
It's a
dude,
window
that's awesome.
astrolabe, I guess. It's kind of like, yeah, that's what it is. And
if you-
it's like the accuracy is 1,400 meters away. This I should say this level of precision. 6.7 meters over to the wall, which you saw from when we were looking at my room here.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious. We definitely got to do a recap of this later on
There it
the
is.
on the Twitter.
So
space
there it is,
tonight.
right there, right? So this black line is the same black line in the graph we've been looking at for 10 minutes. Is it comes in the room 16 meters below that peak, purely horizontally, from here, horizontally, right across here, and that's where the magnet is in terms of left-right on the wall. And that height, vertically, is exactly the same as the bottom edge of that window through which all of the light is passing. Right? This is 16 meters above the window. 1,400 meters away.
So you're saying
There it
there's a
is.
difference
Right?
of
So
0.
that's the road, the green line. Pete, what's that,
So
Shane?
there's a difference of 0.34 degrees with the sun. That's where you get 70% of the sun because you're taking 0.54 or whatever.
I'm taking 0.34 over 0.5, which is the
Right.
angular size of the sun.
Right. You're saying-
So that's 70% of the angular size of the sun here, regardless of the distance away. It's
So the
just that
sun
it
is
happens to
setting-
be a 1,400 meter away block.
It's setting when it's 70% of it's above the horizon. That black line there.
It's fading to nothing when it's still 70% viewable over this peak.
Yeah, see, that's a quantified empirical measurement that's tough to explain on a globe just by itself, right? Because they have to have the gradual.
That is
sort of
my life-
recession.
Blood.
That's
That is my
amazing.
life blood. That is how we roll, gentlemen. This is what you present to Globies, and they go, Invite them to do it themselves is all I can ever say. Hey, if you'd like to refute this, go ahead and set it up, buddy. I mean, show me something different where it doesn't happen like this.
So,
You know what I mean?
so to articulate this in an argument, you would say you could take a westward-facing window at sunset, take a magnet across the room to set
Yep.
the height of the window. You could measure the shadow
The black
as,
line.
Yep, you could measure the shadow as it crawls up the wall behind it.
Yep.
And then you could measure the difference on from the magnet to, where you're marking the wall where it's level across the room to the object casting the shadow, and then where the shadow stopped, you can take the difference of that, do trigonometric functions to produce the angle difference for like if you were to like extend it out, where the magnet line would like hit the sun versus where the shadow would hit the sun, and it shows that with that difference, 70% of the sun is still above the horizon when it's setting. Is that the way you would articulate that?
That is precisely what we're looking at, gentlemen. That is precisely what we are looking
Stone.
at.
You know what they would show you though is those pictures at the beach where the sun is setting as a perfect half crescent, and they're like, "Look, this is what it does all the time." And it's like, well, no, empirically, this is not what it does, right? What you're seeing is a one-off. What this is saying is this is how it sets each and every day.
Yep, this is what you got. When you got a clear day, this is what you're looking at right here. Don't blink. It stays round. It doesn't eclipse
Right.
from the bottom up. It just disappears. It just disappears. It fades to nothing.
So
And that's what we were seeing on the wall.
I'm just trying to get my head around because I know this is how it's supposed to, but like they have so many videos of the sun like setting and but appearing to like sink right into the horizon linearly and then disappear from the bottom up. Until
Yeah,
it's
but so many of those are shot at the beach, shot
Yeah,
over
that's what I was thinking.
parts of water, and there's just so much more garbage going on there. Here, we're over 200 meters above sea, and we're looking away from the ocean. It couldn't play less of a part. You know what I mean? Unless we get up in a weather balloon or something, or the way that Dave did with his drone. He was a couple hundred meters up, and then another couple hundred feet from that, up from there with his drone on a nice cold night and all that business. I didn't even need that. This is February. That's in the middle of summer here. I didn't even need that. And I still got 70% of the sun still visible as it stops descending and fades to nothing.
Awesomeness. That's awesome. Like, this is a good couple weeks.
It's been a good time.
Dude, that is fantastic, Stone. I can't, dude. It always gets better when we go into like, okay, let's get the fine details of it. Okay, we can use a magnet and some trigonometry to show you the difference that the sun is setting 75% above the horizon, fading into nothing.
Exactly. We want to up the precision and fully quantify the observation. That is the thing that globies cannot evade.
Dude, sunsets can't happen on a flat Earth, and shadow sets can't happen on a globe.
Flat Earth can't explain that, man.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so what have we learned? No, just kidding.
You should have measured
Well,
this a long
guys.
time ago. That's what I learned.
Well, I did. I thought I had it in the bag back in November. And I did, but I guess I just didn't have it as cleanly cut and as clearly produced as this for sake of the skeptical globies. Yeah, but put them to rest. Hey, guys, coffin fully nailed shut on this one. We got a thumbs up on that? Yeah, I think so.
I love it. That is so awesome.
Cool.
I can't wait to wield it and sword
Well,
fight
see
people
that-
with it.
Dude, that's the thing, though. As you saw with the celestial theodolite, it takes quite a bit of finagling to even get them to understand, let alone accept to even
Bro.
begin to refute the position. So
Bro,
this will
we're-
be-
Oh, that's
We're
part
in-
of the joy.
We're
now,
in
isn't
such
it?
we're in such a good
It was
position.
joy.
We're arguing simple triangles now, boys. We can't go wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a simple triangle before, and it went easily wrong.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. We've made some progress reclaiming the triangle, right? With the help
yes.
with the help of PhD John or whatever.
Well, I don't know, man. I think there's a difference in terms of scaling here and level of precision as well. That when you're looking at the peak 50 kilometers away, then people can ruify it and try and argue some kind of thing about refraction. But at 1,400 meters, no. Far more clear-cut lines are being drawn here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you plus or minus them 2 seconds, it's still like for the like did it
Oh,
did it
hell
disappear
yeah.
then? Like, yeah, there's still like
Hey,
you know.
I'd give them 5 arc minutes, and it's still not even close.
We could plus or minus some 10, dog. Still smoke them. That's awesome. But yeah, that's awesome, Stone. Thank you for this. Much
It is
appreciated.
my absolute pleasure.
All right. So if there are no further questions, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can wrap for the night, take a little break, and then head over to the Twitter battlegrounds and see if any of the globularists would like to discuss a shadow set and the corresponding angles.
We're gonna have a beating.
That's awesome, dude.
Hey, Elizabeth showed up. How you doing there? Right on late.
Oh, dude, we gotta show this to Elizabeth.
Sorry, I was just talking to Alan about it. Yeah, you can share with the group.
Did you see this, Liz?
See what?
Oh, Stone just did another. We have another triangle situation that shows globularity and possibility. Stone, you want to screen share real
Yeah.
quick, and I can give her the just
Well,
go to the.
let's wind down the stream, and I'll show it to her for sure.
Okay,
We can
okay.
walk right through it again.
All right, cool. I'm gonna close out the stream then. We'll do that.
Thanks for coming, y'all. It's been a slice.